Hey you guys, welcome back to my weekly rants where we talk about what's hot, what's not, and everything in between. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you share, and make sure you drop down and leave me some comments. All right. So today we're talking about the notice of right to cancel. And shout out to all my subscribers, new and old. This was a request from one of my subscribers. So I'm going to just get right into it. For those of you who do not know, a notice of right to cancel is a form that allows a 3-day rescission period, okay, for a borrower to cancel their transaction. And the only transaction that you'll see this 3-day rescission period on are on refinances of primary residences, okay? So you're only going to see these in your refinance packages. You will not see them in packages for investment properties. You will not see them in packages for home purchases. You will not see them in seller packages. You will only see them in refi packages for a primary residence. That's a residence that's homeowner occupied, okay? You'll see them in home equity line of credit packages and refinances. That's it. Only for primary residence, okay? So let me just jump right in. First, the rescission calendar, okay? The rescission calendar should be your best friend, okay? It's one of my best friends. And before I go on to talk about this any further, I will leave links down in the description box to the rescission calendar I use, and also to these blank notice of right to cancels if you don't already have a copy or you've never seen one before. Anyways, I'll leave links in the description box below to both of these, but you should definitely always have a rescission calendar, okay? I keep this in my notary journal. I use it every day. I use it pretty much every day, and I'll tell you why in a second. So there's a couple scenarios that you'll see with the notice of right to cancel, okay? One is the scenario you'll see most often, and that is you'll get the notice of right to cancel in your package and it'll already be pre-filled, and it'll be pre-filled with the correct dates. So let's say today is April 13th, okay? You'll get the notice of right to cancel in your package. It'll say today's date is April 13th. It'll say the last day the borrower has to cancel is April 16th. Perfect. You explain that to the borrower. You have them sign and date at the very bottom. I emphasize the very bottom. Okay, down here, very bottom, have them sign and date. I emphasize that because there's another box here in the middle where they can sign, okay? And that box in the middle is if they will want to cancel their transaction. So I always point that out to the borrowers because a lot of times they sign there by mistake. And it's an easy, mistake to happen, and it's easy to fix. But I always still point that out to them. Hey, make sure you sign all the way down at the very bottom and not in the box where it says I wish to cancel, because that will cancel your loan. Okay. In the instances where sometimes I tell the borrower that and they still sign they still sign in the wrong spot. So in those cases, I just take the blank copy from their copy set and I swap it out. Really easy. Okay. So that's the easy scenario that you'll see 9 times out of 10. You'll see the notice of right to cancel with the correct dates, okay? I also want to mention that there are 2 to 3 copies in each refi package for each borrower. Let me say that again. There's 2 to 3 copies in your package, usually for each borrower, okay? You want to have them sign every copy, and you want to take every copy that they've signed and you want to return it. You don't want to leave any of the signed copies with them, okay? And I'll go over a little bit later why I'm emphasizing that. So, number one, perfect world scenario. The dates are already pre-filled. They're the correct dates. You have them sign and date at the very bottom, okay? Second scenario, sometimes you get the notice of right to cancel pre-filled with the wrong dates, okay? That happens. So what I do during my document preparation process is I look at my rescission calendar so I can find the correct date, okay? I'll look and say, oh, today's April 13th. Last day to cancel is April 16th. And then what I do is I take a sticky note and I stick it right on the top notice of right to cancel, and I write the correct dates, 13 and 16. So when I get in the signing, I'll tell them, hey, the wrong dates are on this notice of right to cancel. I need you to put in the correct dates, which is today's date, April 13th, last day to cancel, April 16th. Please sign a date at the bottom, okay? Now, because they have to make corrections to the date, I have them draw one line through the wrong date, initial next to that line through, okay, in each spot, because the wrong date is going to be at the top. That means the wrong date is also going to be at the middle, in the middle. So they're going to have to make corrections to each date, initial next to their corrections, sign and date at the very bottom. Now, excuse me. When I have any one initial, pay attention to how many initials they should be using. So if Jane is signing and she's signing J.P. Doe, she needs to initial J.P.D. If she's signing Jane Doe, she just needs to initial J.D. Okay? Pay attention to that. That's very important. Okay? So, second scenario, wrong dates on the notice of right to cancel. Cross out using one line, initial next to your cross out, write in the correct dates, sign and date at the very bottom. Okay? Now, last scenario, you'll get a blank one just like this. Nothing's filled in. They have to fill in all the dates, okay? Nothing to cross out, just blank, okay? So they're going to be filling in April 13th, 2020, last day to cancel, April 16th, 2020, sign and date at the bottom, okay? Now in this scenario, I also have them initial next to the dates that they've written in, okay? Have them initial next to the dates that they've written in. Same thing, pay attention to how many initials they need to be using. Do they need to be using 2 initials? Do they need to be using 3 initials? Do they need to be using 4 initials? That sometimes is a scenario as well. So pay attention to that. So those are 3 scenarios, okay? First one, already pre-filled with the correct dates. All you have to do is have them sign the date at the bottom. Second scenario, they are pre-filled with the incorrect dates. You need to have them line through the incorrect dates, write in the correct dates, initial next to their cross out, sign and date at the very bottom. Last scenario, blank copy of the notice of right to cancel. They need to fill in the correct dates, initial next to the dates that they filled in, sign and date at the very bottom. Okay? Is that clear? If it's not clear, go ahead and drop down in the comment section and let me know what I can clarify. Okay? So now that I've ran through those 3 scenarios, let me go back to the point that I want to make regarding having the borrower sign all the notice of rights to cancels and returning them all back to title. Okay? There's going to be, like I mentioned, 2 to 3 copies for each borrower. Have them sign all of them and return all of them. Okay, I keep saying that and I keep emphasizing that because a couple months ago there were some issues that came up where I was noticing I was getting a lot of emails, blanket emails, just about this scenario, stating that a lot of notaries were leaving some of the signed copies with the borrower. Okay, and that was causing a problem because all the signed copies need to come back. Now I know if you read this notice of right to cancel, and I'm going to leave a link to these blank ones, you'll see, and you probably know what I'm talking about. It says, the undersigned each acknowledge receipt of 2 copies of the notice of right to cancel and 1 copy of the Federal Truth in Lending Disclosure Statement. So some notaries are interpreting that as leave 2 of these signed copies with the borrower. But let me remind you, you have a copy, an identical copy set you should have printed out and left with the borrower, okay? That has multiple copies of the notice of right to cancel for them as well. That is their copy, okay? All the signed copies of the notice of right to cancel need to go back to title, okay? Except, you know, there's always an exception to the rule, right? There's always an exception to the rule. I'm going to tell you the exception. The exception is if you have been given explicit instructions to leave a copy, which out of all the signings I do, I've had that happen 1 time, okay? I've done, I don't know, over 100 signings at this point, One time, one company gave me explicit instructions in the refi set to leave two signed copies with the borrower, and they only needed one signed copy back. That is the only time I will do that, if I'm given explicit instructions from title or from the lender to do so. Other than that, give them all the copies back, okay? And that is not just for the notice to right to cancel. I know that's what we're talking about right now, but I just want to say sometimes in your loan package there will be duplicate documents. Have them all signed and have them all sent back, okay? But right now we're talking about the notice to right to cancel specifically with this form. Have all the signed copies returned back with the set. Don't leave any signed copies with the borrower. I'm gonna say that again. Don't leave any signed copies with the borrower. Let them know their copies are in the blank copy set, okay? Unless you've been given explicit instructions otherwise, return all the signed copies back, okay? Is this clear? If it's not, again, drop down in the comment section and let me know what I can clarify, okay? So you guys, that pretty much sums up the notice of right to cancel. It may sound a little convoluted, but it really is simple. And once you get rolling, you'll see what I mean. Really, really simple. If there's anything that you're still confused on, just drop down and let me know. I'm gonna leave links to these blank copy sets. I'm gonna leave links to the rescission calendar that I use. Always use this rescission calendar. Don't try to calculate and guess what when the rescission period ends. Just use the calendar, okay? So many tools and resources to make life easier for you. Please use them. And until next time, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you leave me some comments, make sure you share, and thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you guys later. Peace out.